and SoFloTelevision.com.
SoFloRadio.com presents CEOmanship, becoming a leader in today's business. With your host, Steve Gordon, CEO of Gordon Partnership Group, an international business consulting firm specializing in CEO bootcamp, sales team training, as well as client growth and retention. Visit GordonPartnershipGroup.com. Gordon Partnership Group. Your success is our business. And now, here's your host, Steve Gordon.
Welcome back. It's another Monday. Except for those people listening live, then they'll know it's Thursday. But we're
going to
recording.
mess with everyone's head. We have time travel ability here at SoFlo Radio.
Yeah, I just gave away the secret.
It's two-way time travel. It's forwards and backwards.
You know, the interesting thing is, you're going to tell me after the show, you go, why did you tell them we're recording early? You should just go. But I own this show.
I didn't say that at all. I didn't use that dreaded R word.
And
I said we're time traveling.
We are time traveling, right?
Yes, we are.
Speaking of time travel, there's a young man in our studio.
Absolutely.
His name is Anthony.
This
Where
is
did
a
we find
live
him?
radio show and video show in every way, shape, and form. Yes, intern Anthony is over there if you want to.
Intern Anthony, time travel. So
drag him in.
Kind of looks like you, but it looked like maybe 30 years ago.
He's already been initiated and everything.
Who inculcated the plebe?
Well, there was all of us were involved. There was a spanking machine.
Did he say, "Sir, yes, sir"?
In the other room, and and then there was a lot of blood and nudity involved. Very, very much like Judaism when you joined the tribe.
I was almost going to say, come on, guys, we're staying on topic for our business show, but that was actually very funny.
Thank you.
And being a member of the tribe, I could actually say that.
If I want to join, I have to get naked, and then they bring out this knife.
But then we eat.
But then we eat, which is what it's all about. which is
amazing, right?
There's several reasons why I'm a Jew wannabe. Is the food?
Here's the deal.
I want to be a culinary Jew.
All right, so here's the deal. Being a member of the tribe myself.
Did you notice the mezuzah on the door? On the outside.
No, Anthony's in the way.
On the outside.
But let me go back to the food part. All right, so here's the deal. All right, we're so off topic already, but that's okay, right? Because I love that about hanging out with you, George.
I'll keep it fresh.
You do. So here's the deal. Yeah, we have a lot of food, but it's really boring. Like Lori.
Yes.
We know
I do know
Lori.
Lori.
We talk about her on every single show.
Not boring.
Anthony, Lori's my wife, and she's a holistic health coach. She's a gourmet cook. Usually calls in, but she's in New York today. Made me take her to the beach on the way to the airport just so she could feel really terrible when she landed in New York.
You took the scenic route.
We actually walked the dogs on the beach where we're allowed to. Anyway, so she'll always tell me, she'll say, look, your people, my people, we have lots of food we like to eat, but it's really plain. And she was like, look, on Sundays when she grew up, it was like a fest. You wake up, someone pops a meatball in your mouth, and then,
the Italian thing.
Right, and then grandma's making something, and pasta's flying and flowers going everywhere. And if you just, all you gotta do is put a hand up. For those watching on the video, my hand is up, and you just grab something out of the air. It's like the Flintstones, right? Boom, grab it, pop it in your mouth.
That sounds
sausage.
like paradise. I had a...
It is. I'm converting.
My mother was not a good cook, unfortunately. No good excuse for that. But I beg to differ. Jewish deli, some of my favorite food in the world. Some of the delis around the area here, from the breakfast foods, the fully loaded bagel with the Nova on it and the onion.
Well, okay.
Eat one of those every
right.
day, and then
and then you gain like 400 pounds. But yeah,
the matzo ball soup and
a little boring.
And the corned beef.
Right, but then you have brisket. I mean, all right. Come on.
See?
Grandma boils
brisket
meat. Because
brisket is delicious, especially
God.
if done correctly. I love brisket.
Well,
It's worth getting cut for. That's how much I love
Anthony
brisket. It's worth blood.
Sausage and peppers or brisket?
All right, he's going.
Intern Anthony goes with the host.
We don't have to choose. Yeah, well, I gave him a big lecture about sucking up before you came here.
Well, that was good.
It was good. It's all right. One suck up point for Anthony.
All right. So I have a very interesting story to start this with, but I like to begin my show before I actually tell everybody who we are by asking you, what did you do the last couple of days?
It's dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous, but no, what's dangerous actually, George, is when I say to you before the show, okay, you got a good story for me? You go, yeah, but I'm not telling you.
Telling you.
Usually you give me a heads up.
Spring it on you. Well, you ought to save the air stuff for the air. I firmly agree. But it's very safe. But you because you play hockey, so I thought of you when and I think of stories that I can relate on your show. And you're a skater. You're an ice skater because you play hockey. And
the two do go hand in hand. Yes.
You can't do one without. Oh, that's not true. I played parking lot hockey.
Right, but that is not
It's
ice
not,
hockey.
I know. No, you play ice hockey. That's for real deal. I belong to a fat old man parking lot hockey league. It was great. Every 10 minutes they would stop for beer and cigarettes.
You know the best part about you is that you do tell the truth because your stories don't change. You know, our listeners can go back on my archives.
I don't have to make things up.
No, your life is a story to begin with. All right, so what happened?
So I'm skating and my bearings froze, and I know that, and I have ice skated, so you're familiar with the ice skate technology, I'm sure.
There are no bearings on ice skates.
There are no bearings, but it is important to keep your blades sharp, and your toe pick if you use things like that to keep them sharp as well. To keep
Hockey
your gear
players don't use toe picks.
Right. I said if you do, those are figure skating things. Sorry.
Yes. Well,
nevertheless,
very appropriate for you to be sharing that with me, of course.
Well, I mean, I need a toe stop on my roller skates. Not all roller skaters use toe stops, but I do. My toe stops were getting down to the end, and I decided to check my bearings too, and my wheels barely turned. My wheels were barely turning. That's how irresponsible I was. Changing my bearings, you're supposed to keep them clean and keep them fresh. Otherwise, you're creating a lot of friction.
There have been so many opportunities for me to walk through about 1 million doors right now, but because this is CEOmanship and not your show,
right?
I have let them all go. But our audience was all going, "Oh, come on, Steve, that was so easy. Take the shot."
Well, I'd been neglecting my gear. You miss all the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky, right?
Wayne Gretzky.
You said that on an earlier
show. That's right. 100% of the shots you don't take. Good for you, George.
That's called a callback. So I was checking my skate gear. My skates were very dirty. The bearings, at least a couple of the wheels were I was barely turning. And what that creates when you're skating on wheels that aren't, on bearings that aren't clean and fresh like that, you're creating a lot of friction, which creates heat. So when I went to change my bearings, I bought new bearings, and I went to change my bearings. They were fused into the wheels. It took the staff of the roller rink, like to 2 people to pull my bearings out of there and see all the damage that you can do for not doing proper maintenance. But then I changed my bearings and I changed my toe stops. And it was like I was 10 years younger out on the floor. All of a sudden, this is what you can do when you can fly. Like when you have nice, clean, sharp blades on your skates. You don't really notice how far gone something is until you return it to the ideal. And it made me think that, in business things, you got to keep your gear fresh. You got to keep your gear.
You got to stay on your game. That's
stay
right.
on your game. Keep your gear polished, and do regular maintenance.
For example, hiring someone from the Gordon Partnership Group to come in and work with your sales team or your CEO or
to
your top
sharpen
management.
your blades or
we
lube your bearings, if you will.
The term in business is to sharpen the saw, so to say.
Sharpen the saw.
Yeah, that means just to stay on your game. Yeah.
Chainsawing analogy from Montana. Sharp saws, sharp knives. Sharp knives are very important. It's a sharp knife is much safer than a dull knife because, you might use too much pressure and cut yourself when it finally does give out. But I'm thinking of things in terms of business now because not only because I want to share things on your show, but I want to, I want to be a good businessman as opposed to the comic relief that I am right now.
Well, you never cease to amaze me with your stories. And the worst part about coming in here on a non-Monday, even though this will air on Monday, so I've given it away again.
Oh, no.
Is that I don't get to go to Food Truck Monday.
This isn't Monday?
I know.
I almost took a picture of the food truck that I was talking about. It's got a big picture of Cuba on the side. I think it's called fritas.
Can I tell you, I went home and I egotistically watched my own show.
No, that's called research.
Right. For research purposes, Anthony, I went and watched my own show on a 65-inch screen.
That's
by the way.
blade sharpening. Oh, my God. So
and I...
Did you know your pores were so big?
Well, and it is a super HD. So anyway, I'm watching, and as we're talking about the food trucks, and you're speaking about that one particular truck that served the Cuban steak, I thought, wow, next Monday?
All right.
I got to go there. And then you called me and said, ooh,
yeah,
Monday's a holiday, so we got to film early.
Because skating.
Because you're skating.
On my new bearings.
On your new bearings. So you're going to be out there flying, and I'm going to be thinking I should be eating Cuban steak.
So it sounds like a date. for next Monday, the following, that is. Cuban steak sandwich. I saw it. It's right there.
Okay. I date like you and me.
Well, date, right? You know, you could bring the flowers if you want. You know, I'll be the girl.
You'll be the girl.
Oh, well, I bought a purple blazer, so
Listen,
shiny.
I've seen the way you roller skate
For a steak sandwich.
All right, let's not digress. So let me just for the sake of intern Anthony, who intern Anthony, are you going to be here for a while, or is this like your one day? It's like a one and out.
No, he's going to be here for both of the shows that we have going on today.
But I mean, after, like, will he be here for other shows?
Oh, I don't know. It really depends on if he gets through those initiation routines.
Okay. So, intern Anthony, here we go. So my name is Steve Gordon, even though we actually met a few seconds ago, and I am the CEO of the Gordon Partnership Group. And the name of this show is CEOmanship. And it's a radio show that's geared for, and television show, that's geared towards the audience of business owners and CEOs and upper management in business. And so my company comes in and helps other businesses when their business might be flat, they want to grow, they want to increase their profits, their revenues, and they bring us in, or they bring me in to help them grow their business for 6 or 12 months, and then they're hunky-dory and they're making a lot of money, and they say, okay, bless and release. And that's good, because then I feel like I've done my job and I go to the next one. And so that's what I do. That's what my company does. And this show takes pieces of what we do. Intern Anthony is really paying attention. It's unbelievable.
He is. He's a good kid.
I'll take your word for that. He said trying to.
So far.
No, he seems real good. Let's keep him on. Anyway, so that's what this show does. We talk to business owners about how to make more money than they are right now. So you can reach out to me personally if you want by sending me an email at steve@Gordon, Gordon, partnership.com. And if you want, after the show, even though you've listened to it live, if you want to watch it again, because much like I did with the Cuban steaks last week, if you want to go back and listen to something, learn something again, all of our shows are archived on CEOmanship.com. And you can also subscribe to our podcast on iTunes at CEOmanship. And so the amazing George uploads those podcasts each week, right after the show, within a few minutes. And then our subscribers, if you should go to our website and just fill in your email address and your name, we'll give you access to something that we do now once a week that's special. It's not just for business owners, it's for anybody who wants to be a little bit motivated, just pumped up during your week, and it's called Elevations. It's a very, very brief 2, 3, 4, 5-minute audio blog, and only those who subscribe have access to the password to Elevations. Once again, we can come in and we can speak to you. If you'd like to follow us, it's on Facebook at Gordon Partnership, Twitter, follow Steve Gordon, Instagram, Gordon Partnership, LinkedIn. Just search for me, Steve Gordon, or CEOmanship, or Gordon Partnership. And so, interesting story in the news today. How's that for what we call a segue?
It's amazing. It's
All
like
right.
a little one of those perpendicular segues.
So, I live up by Jupiter Island.
Indeed.
And so there are some folks who live there. Do you know where that is, intern Anthony? Wow. We're like only about an hour away, and we got to get you out of this area. Were you born and raised here? Okay, so born and raised. Wait till he gets up to like Palm Beach County. He's going to go like, holy cow, Mom, Dad, there's like a whole nother world here.
Baby steps. When we find,
all right, we'll work him to Fort Lauderdale.
When we find that he's useful, then we'll send him on further errands.
All right, we're having too much fun with intern Anthony. Anyway, so in the news today, my neighbor, Tiger Woods.
Okay.
He's not my direct neighbor, but he's right.
You guys hang
down
like,
the street,
right over the fence, and you talk.
Could be right. Remember that TV show? What was it? Tool Time?
Flintstones. Oh
no, right. Where like the neighbor on the other side of the fence,
Sure.
and you never saw his face.
Right.
Anyway, so Tiger has decided he's going to take a little time off from golf because he's not happy with his game.
Are you sure he can afford to?
Maybe. Actually, you know what? I was looking on the public records today. He pays almost $600,000 a year in taxes in 2010.
His property taxes.
Well, it's a breakdown. I actually wrote it all down. But between Martin County and school tax and Jupiter Island tax and a few other things and water management, it's like $600,000. So I don't know if he can afford
Probably
to.
tips that much on pizza in a month.
So you know how I like to ride my bicycle on Jupiter Island.
Indeed.
And then as I'm reading this story, two things came to me. One right now, which is he's taking time off for a few weeks to work with a swing coach. Don't touch that one. Just leave it alone. Golf swing, right? To sharpen his saw to get his game better because he feels like he's not producing the way he should be. And it would be like you or I going to, say, a seminar to learn how to run our businesses better or whatever. So even the best of the best are going out there and stepping away and regrouping to get better.
Well, it's, and other people have said it better. That perfection is a direction, not a destination. You never really get there. You just move in that direction. You try to get better and better. You're never too old to grow.
Well, that's for sure.
And be better, and that's good. Well, that's very inspirational because certainly right. The last person that we would think felt of themselves that they would could stand room for improvement, it would be him.
Well, it's interesting because you were talking about getting better and better, and I've used the expression here that if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. I say that often, and in this particular case, I guess he feels the same way. But this is what I really thought. Do you remember a couple of years ago, Tiger had a little experience? He was out driving and had a little bit of an accident.
Yes.
He was a little bit inebriated.
Yes.
And you know that I ride my bicycle every morning on Jupiter Island, right?
Right.
So I Google mapped where he lived so that I could be very, very cautious when I'm driving now in the morning while he's taking these 2 weeks off so that I can be aware in case that gate starts to open.
Yeah. Sure you weren't, a little stocky?
No, stocky. I was just thinking, okay, look, I'm in the prime of my career and I do not need to be taken out because Tiger Woods is having a 2-week, hiatus because he needs to, be a better swinger.
I would give anything to be hit by Tiger Woods' car.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I thought, okay, well, look, I love consulting, but at the end of the day,
I would do
I'm sure it's pretty good.
Santeria sacrifice ritual if Tiger would hit me with his car.
All right, so let's not, for all the lawyers out there, we are.
As a matter of fact, I think he might have. Yeah, like I can't turn my head now. He's never been anywhere near me, but I think I'm going to start laying the foundation right now.
I wonder if I'll bump into him like at the local coffee shop.
Make sure you fall over and hold your neck if you do.
Wow, I see you've got experience.
I've been to Walmart. I know how it goes.
So, Thursdays, I typically go to a meeting in the morning where I meet other business professionals. It's called a networking meeting.
Yes, I've heard of these things.
You have, good. No. And I am a big believer, intern Anthony, in network meetings. Do you know what I'm talking about? That would be a no. You took too long to answer.
That's right.
It's okay. I wish that we had the camera on intern Anthony because he's great.
No, there's a reason he's off camera.
No, he's great. I think before the show we got to give him a little airtime. That's because I'm the host.
I have to get a costume for him.
I thought he was dressed up now. All right, we'll get you on air before that. It'll make your mom proud. Anyway, so I'm a very, very big believer in these networking events. Why? Because no matter what, I feel like business is done always with people that we like and we trust, right? I mean, think about anything you do now, even if you're buying concert tickets. You could buy them through Craigslist, right, or you could buy them from a guy who lives around the corner from you, and if you trust him, you probably figure he didn't actually print them in his basement, right?
Well, he's getting into broadcasting so that he won't have to buy them.
That's good because the salaries are so high in broadcasting.
Yeah. But the perks are great.
Anyway, all right, so much for that. Anyway, so I'm a big believer, even with all of social networking and telephone sales and everything, that it's very, very hard to develop that kind of trust the way that you want to for larger sales, for continued sales and business without ever actually meeting someone. Now, don't get me wrong, George, and intern Anthony, because there are people in telephone sales who are very successful and online web sales, and there are great websites where people make money. But for the sake of today's show, I'm going to talk about developing the type of relationship that's able to really help last years and allow for continued sales and upsells and larger and larger sales and purchases by the consumer that would benefit the consumer, benefit you, benefit your corporation. All right. So why why do I go to a networking event, right?
Why do you go to a networking event?
You played
To let people bask in your radiant glow?
no.
Okay.
No, it's not about me. See that
Okay.
that is one of the lessons that
is
we're
it-
going to teach in a
Is
little
it
bit.
the food? Because that's why I go to networking events.
Interesting you say that.
buffet
And boy, how
table.
silly you're going to sound, or realize you sounded, in about 15, 20 minutes or so when we get to that part.
Starting the timer.
There we go. I know. This is where you go. Don't tell the audience how much time. All right. Anyway, so the thing is this. There is. I go to also meet new clients, right?
Yes.
Because everybody, no matter how successful your business is, you're only as successful as your last sale.
Right.
Does that make sense? That's pretty
Sure,
profound,
sure
right?
does. No, sounds great.
So here, the thing is that there's a way to and a way not to properly network. And by the way, intern Anthony, here's a lesson for you because how old are you? 18.
I got socks older than that.
Is he allowed to work in the state of Florida at 18?
In the state of Florida, you're allowed to work at the age of 8.
Right, and
At
he's
the-
not getting paid
At
anyway.
the sweatshops. We've got the best sweatshop laws in the country here in the state of Florida. Haiti's jealous of our sweatshop laws.
That's funny. Anyway, so here's the deal. Think of this networking. It could be anything from going to a party and trying to figure out how you're going to get from the corner you're standing into meeting that very attractive young woman on the other side that doesn't know you exist yet. And now, would it be easier for you to walk up and just say, hi, my name's intern Anthony. You don't know me, but I'd like to get to know you, or have somebody that is a mutual contact of both of yours walk over and go, hey, Sally, this is intern Anthony, and he's a great guy, and this is something about him. He's really into communications and digital music and all this. And Sally, I know that you're a broadcast major, and I thought you two might have something in common. So because she knows both of you, now she trusts, we hope, at least enough for you to start the conversation. So which would be easier from your perspective? The second option, he says. He doesn't have a microphone, but that's exactly right. So it's no different in business as it is in life, right? So if you do it right, and you'll have literally an endless supply. Let's go back not to dates, but let's go back now to business, right? Because here's the thing. Companies spend millions of dollars, some of them, sometimes much more, to generate leads and customers.
That's the plot of Glengarry Glen Ross.
That's a whole nother show, but you're absolutely right. I love that movie.
That's a great movie.
But the thing is this, if I could show you by the end of this show today how you could generate an unlimited number of high-quality contacts that would be potentially great customers for your business or anybody else's business, and it didn't really cost you anything.
Right.
That'd be pretty good, right?
That would be really good. I'm peaked.
So let's bring it on. All right, so here's the deal. If you do the networking properly, that's what's going to happen. Now, if you do it wrong, you're going to end up frustrated, and you're never going to want to go back and attend another one of these networking events, and you're going to feel they're a waste of time. And so you're going to get two people standing side by side, and one's going to go, oh my gosh, I live by networking events. It's how I build my entire career. And other people, the next person's going to go, absolute waste of time. And I'm going to tell you, it's all because of the way that they do it. And by the time we finish today, you're going to be a networking expert. So grab your pens and grab your notebooks.
Notebook, right there it is.
And for those of you under the age of, I don't know, 30,
18.
take out your iPhones, your iPads, or there goes Anthony. He's taking out his iPhone. He's typing
He's
on
got
his
a brain
notepad.
scanner.
He's either typing on his notepad to me, or he's texting, but he wants me to feel good that he's typing on his notepad. There he goes. All right. So here's the deal. So networking is a skill. All right. It is a skill which, like any other skill, needs to be practiced. Just like Tiger Woods, that we spoke about earlier. See the tie-in?
I see.
And so, don't think that Tiger Woods just wakes up like on a Thursday and goes, "Ooh, I got to catch a plane because there's a tournament in Hawaii on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday where I can earn $1 million," and he just gets on the plane and lands in Hawaii and plays golf. He practices. We call it PDR: practice, drill, rehearse. Practice, drill, rehearse. Practice, drill, rehearse. Yeah, got to think about that for a minute, right? So every day he's working on his skill level, and as we said earlier, he's taking that time off now because he feels like he's not up to championship par. All right, which would be the same as a salesperson maybe going to a training or anything else. So first thing I want to do is talk about the different types of networking events because there's lots of different ways to network. But in general, all networking events are all the same. Anytime you're in a room, by the way, with other people, you are technically you're networking, right? So, in fact, George, I'm always networking, as you know.
That fact.
I am. I'm always networking. It could be at the gym or on an airplane or a party. Notice that I didn't say I'm always selling, because you don't want to sell. The idea is you want to develop a relationship with somebody, and selling and networking are very, very different. The objective of networking is to sift through the different people in the room to find a compatibility with somebody where you can each benefit each other. So in other words, well, we're going to give examples, but where I might be able to help you with your business and you might be able to help me with my business, and together we increase both of our sales and we help our clients. All right. So the goal of networking, again, is to meet people you don't know who might have a clientele similar to yours, and these people are typically a non-competing business. So the goal is to meet these people and to see how you can help each other to grow your business, as I said. So here's an example. Let's say that intern Anthony is a real estate professional. He is a real estate mogul. All right, he just gave us a big thumbs up.
That's right.
All right,
It looks like it.
And maybe you, George, are a mortgage broker.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you think that there might be some synergy? Like, he's selling the houses, but he can't sell the house until they get the mortgage, right? And he knows you're really good because he's met you, and we're going to talk about how he knows you're really good, and he knows that you're going to take good care of his clients. Now, why are you going to take good care of his clients? Because he's feeding you business, right?
Right.
Why would you bite the hand that feeds you? He's bringing his clients, and he's saying, hey, listen, I know this guy is a great mortgage broker, and he knows you're going to take real good care of them, because if you don't, there's 10,000 other mortgage brokers in Palm Beach County that could take his business. Right. So it's great. You help his people get qualified. You help them get qualified quickly. You run them through the process. You spend time with them. You make them feel good. And the only way that happened is because you met each other somewhere, typically a networking event, and you sat down and you discussed what would benefit each of your businesses. All right. So the other thing is this. That would be a perfect match. But let's think about who else we could add to that mix. All right. So how about a landscaper?
Okay.
Right? Because somebody buys a new house, guess what?
Right. Landscaping.
Right? They don't have a landscaper. I just moved recently, didn't have a landscaper.
Right.
Right? So I got a referral. Okay. How about
contractor?
What's that?
Contractor.
Oh, you
Just
jumped
throwing
ahead,
things
but
out
that's
there.
fine. Yeah, a plumber, an electrician. How about a cleaning service, a painter, and as you said, a contractor.
A spackler.
You know what?
To spackle.
These are all the things that we needed when we moved into our new home in an area where we did not know anybody.
Sure.
So this is important. And so our real estate agent gave us some very, very good suggestions. Some neighbors gave us suggestions. But on a professional level, it made sense for our agent to know these people, right? Or maybe for the painter to say, I know a good contractor, which is exactly what happened. The other day after they finished painting our home, he came back. He said, hey, can I bring over, I heard you guys talking about wanting to do some work in your home. I know a guy who does great work. He's really reasonable. And I'm thinking, okay, my painter just did a great job. I mean, really, Anthony, spectacular job, right? I would recommend him. So if you ever buy a house and you need painting, his name is Keith. It's Albright. They're up in Jupiter, Tequesta area, but maybe he'd come down to help you, okay? There was a shameless plug for Keith, my painter, but he's a great guy and did good work. But then he comes over with his contractor. I'm thinking, okay, well, if Keith does good work, he's not going to refer me to a contractor that does shoddy work. So immediately I go, sure, bring him over.
Right.
Saves me the trouble because I like and trust Keith.
He has credibility.
And he has credit. You are so attentive, George.
I'm all up in your head.
Just get out of my head. There's not that much room. George, let's take a quick break.
Let's do that.
My name is Steve Gordon. You're listening to CEOmanship on SoFlo Radio and Television.com.
More CEOmanship with Steve Gordon next on SoFloRadio.com.
Put a team of professional consultants behind your home or business computer with Key Information Solutions, providing solutions to your internet and computing needs while keeping you on the cutting edge of technology. Preventative maintenance and networking support, hardware and custom-built computers. Let Key Information Solutions be your personal tech staff for your home or office with affordable hourly, monthly, or annual rates to fit anyone's budget. Call Key Information Solutions now. 954-973-3374. That's 954-973-3374. Or visit keyinformation.com.
Strawberry patches, smoothie.
Get your hands off me.
Huh?
I said don't touch me.
I shouldn't have went to that party last night. Now I'm seeing talking fruit.
You're not dreaming, Bubba, and you're not putting me in that blender.
But you're just a fruit.
Who you calling a fruit?
You are. You're a delicious passion fruit.
Why, sure, I'm passionate. How would you like to be blended, huh? I got right, you know.
Customers waiting. You gotta go.
Yeah, but wait, you can...
At Power Smoothie in Aventura, we show fruit no mercy. Always fresh, always delicious. To make the best smoothies and wraps on earth, try our new cilantro lime-alicious wrap or our hot chipotle chicken. Power Smoothie in Aventura, located just north of the Aventura Mall in the Promenade Shops. Or call 305-792-5338. Open 7 days a week.
The most important online
See?
radio station.
It's
in
easier
the
than
world.
ever to listen to SoFlo. On the air and everywhere. On any computer, any mobile device, iPhone, iTouch, and anywhere you are, just hit SoFloRadio.com. Tell your friends about South Florida's radio network, SoFloRadio.com.
Now, back to CEOmanship with Steve Gordon on SoFloRadio.com.
We are back. Wow, you got
Nice.
new to rejoin music.
I'm going to keep mixing it up to keep you guessing every week, but try to keep it punchy all the
It
time.
is punchy. I like that.
Something high energy for you there.
All right, so we talked about how it was important, like my real estate agent might want to be connecting with, the contractor, the landscaper, et cetera. But then let's go backwards, right? What benefit could a contractor bring to the real estate agent or the mortgage broker on the flip side, right? Well, what if
Kickbacks. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, not kickbacks. But
Although-
what if I were fixing my home right now? I had a contractor and a painter in there, and they heard me say to the lovely Lori, can't wait till we flip this house. That's why we tell the painter we're going to flip this house. That's why we're painting it. And he turns to me and he says, you know what? I know a great real estate agent. He sells a lot of homes in here. In fact, I had dinner with him recently, and he told me that on average, he's able to sell homes in this community for 10% more than anybody else in Palm Beach County. In fact, you know what, George? Let me pick up my phone, and if you'd like, I'll just call him. No obligation, but let me introduce the two of you.
Sure.
And then I'll get back to painting. But, if that's what your intent is and you don't have somebody, I'm going to tell you that intern Anthony is really one of the best real estate agents in Martin County. And I think he could not only list your home, but I think he could, after we're done painting it and fixing it the way you want, I think this is going to sell fast. And Anthony's the one to do it for you. And then just take out your phone, and he's got intern Anthony's number right there. Beep, beep, beep. Actually, no beep, 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 because everything's just one touch on an iPhone these days. And he hands the phone and says, hey, listen, Steve, I want you to meet Anthony. Anthony, I'm with this guy, Steve. They're fixing up their house right now, and the intent is that they want to sell it. It's an absolutely beautiful house. I told him how great you were. I told him that on average, you're able to get at least 10% more than any other agent in the area. And I thought that maybe the two of you should meet. And then maybe intern Anthony goes, well, you know what? I'm driving down Indian Town Road right now. I'm about 10 minutes away from the house. Steve, would you like me to come over and just say hello to you? No pressure. I'll just kind of talk to you a little bit. Let me take a look at the house, and I'll give you an idea what it might be worth. Let's talk about what you paid and see if it makes sense.
Sure.
Okay, let's kind of parse that a little bit, all right? Let me go backwards now and explain really what happened, right? Number one, we're paying attention, right? And the contractor is thinking, okay, I know a real estate professional. And then why does the real estate professional, work with the contractor? Because vice versa. They're throwing business back and forth to each other, right? One hand washes the other.
Sure.
The other thing is that he had intern Anthony's number in his phone.
Right.
And he took immediate action, okay? So, again, if you think...
As opposed to, I'll email you later.
Yeah, or, listen, when I get home tonight,
yeah.
I'll call Anthony and I'll have Anthony call you.
No time like the present.
Carpe diem.
Right.
Means seize the moment, Anthony.
Strike while the iron is hot.
That
all
too.
of these things, all these old... But they're so true today.
For simplicity's sake, again, you go back and look at any of these scenarios, right? Because, Anthony's my real estate, I'm going to go back to the first scenario. You're my agent. You're selling me my home, my dream home. I've developed a trust in you. Because you're paying attention, notice I've used that word several times today, paying, or a combination of words, paying attention, right?
Right.
And because you've attended some of these local networking events, you, as my contractor, or you as my agent, know the contractor. So you've developed a relationship. You started to work. Maybe you fed some leads back and forth, and now it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. You had those names and numbers already programmed in your phone. Let me tell you what I do, by the way. This is what I do, Anthony, when I meet somebody at a networking event that I want to share leads with, possibly. I write intern Anthony on my iPhone, in your number.
That's his first name.
Intern.
While the process is going on, absolutely.
Right. So it's his first name, intern.
Mm-hmm.
Last name Anthony.
Right.
And then in the notes section, what I typically do is I'll write real estate mogul, Martin County, Florida. No, I better say like Broward County because he hasn't left this in, 18 years?
Ever.
It's really sad.
Been further
Have you ever been outside of Broward County?
He just got
right,
street crossing privileges last year. Why,
Okay, let's not make fun of intern Anthony. All right, so anyway, I've got, intern Anthony, what he does, and then I write down, for example, in the notes section of my iPhone, a contact list, I might write down where we met. Thursday morning breakfast meeting at Panera Bread or wherever we meet on PGA Boulevard, right? Mm-hmm. If they ever let you up there. And then the other thing I might do is I might write down the names of some of the people that I've referred you to that you've done business with, or people that might be fairly impressive in the neighborhood that you've done business with, so that I can turn around and when I refer, you to intern, and I know we're all over the place who's doing the referrals now, but now I'm the one doing the referral work again.
Right.
So if I say, George, I know this real estate professional. His name is intern Anthony. He lives in the area. He's great. Does all this work. He's 10% hired. Everybody, great guy. You'll like him a lot. Let me call you up. By the way, I just happened to remember that, the house down here, he sold.
Okay.
The one around the corner he sold. I think he sold one on the water a couple of weeks ago that had been on the market for a while. As soon as he got the listing, boom, sold it. Now, I'm not going to remember this stuff.
Right.
But it's right there on my phone, right? And I'm building, not only am I building, credibility with you because, we have a mutual contact, right? But at the same time, I'm third-party referring out now. I'm starting to use the names of other people that you may or may not know, but if not, at least it builds more credibility with you because you're thinking, wow, this guy must be good.
Yes. Let me ask you, though. What's wrong with, it's not a kickback unless you are in the government. It's a referral fee. And people,
there are some industries where you're allowed.
Which is very valuable.
And some industries you're not allowed.
The Glengarry leads. Right.
Yeah,
and I guess it's by the company. It's a company rule, or how does that work? Because personally, I would find a referral very valuable. I wouldn't mind paying a referral fee if it leads to some good business.
Then what you should do is you should put that word out there when you go to networking meetings and you meet people, for example, who, in your case, maybe if you were to attend a networking meeting and you met somebody who sells print advertising.
Sure.
And you said to him or her, if you happen to bump into somebody and maybe you want to do an by the way.
Sure.
Like after you've done your job because your employer is paying you. But as you walk out the door, if you turn around and go, oh, by the way, Anthony, thank you for advertising in our magazine. I know the guy who owns SoFlo Radio and Television right down here in Hollywood. Right. And if you'd like, you can get a great deal. Have you ever, advertised on radio and TV? Because I don't want to take away from what we're doing here in the print. This is great. We're going to track these coupons you're going to love. But for really like pennies on the dollar.
Excellent value.
Right? It's a great value. Yeah, why not?
Sure.
And then you could say to that person at the networking event, you know what? I would be willing to give you X% on anything you referred to me, and you just do it as you can.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Referral fee.
There you go. Well, I think you should hold up something.
I'm going to have that printed on the back of my card. I was always wondering, what to put on the back of my card, business card.
I like it. All right, so now we understand the whole process and why it's so important and valuable because of the whole trust, et cetera, right?
Sure.
So the next obvious question, intern Anthony, is where do we meet people? Where are these networking events, and how do you find them? So if you've never attended a networking event, the first thing I'd ask you to do is to go to your browser of choice and type in certain terms such as business networking Broward County, business networking Hollywood, Florida, business networking Jupiter, Florida, wherever you live, within maybe an X mile radius, right? There are also other things. There's something called Meetup, MEETUP.com.
Sure.
And BNI, Business Networking International. BNI is an international organization. They run almost like a franchise in the sense that it's very, very rigid in terms of their rules. But the meetups are very different. I like the meetups, and I'll tell you why. First of all, I like the idea of going to meetup.com. It's simply a website where people go and search within a radius for other people that have a common interest. So it could be people that like to walk their chihuahuas at dusk on the beach.
Sure.
And you'll probably find one.
Or Santeria.
Right? It could be Santeria, going back to what you were saying.
To,
right? Or it could be a simple business networking event. All right? So a meetup, as I said, could be for anybody who has something common. And by the way, just because, do you have a pet, intern Anthony? What do you have? An Australian Shepherd. Okay, so maybe Anthony, who owns his own record label, right, or is in the music business, and he wants to meet other people, but not just go to a music meetup, because that's maybe that's not where he wants to go. But there is an Australian. Is that a big dog? Okay, so maybe there's a small dog meetup. Well, guess what? Other people with small dogs, you immediately walk in with your small dog and you have something in common, right? And so the ice is already broken. And then you kind of walking around the beach with your dogs and everyone's having a good time, throwing their Frisbees and doing whatever you do when you walk your dogs on the beach, right? And you'd say, hey, what do you do? And you could say, well, I'm in the record business or I'm in the music business. And, after a little bit of small talk, you could say, by the way, what do you do? Or let me tell you, do you know anybody who's looking for a break in the music industry? Or do you know anybody, blah? And you just put it out there because the walls are down. It's not like you're just walking down the street and bumping into random people and going, I'm looking for this. And people look at you like you're crazy, right? So the idea of the meetup is when you have something in common, you're already friends.
Right.
Making sense?
Like the Santeria group. It's chickens. That's
okay.
You can't always find live chickens.
Well, you know what? Where I grew up in New York, you can find live chickens. Actually,
it's not Key West down here, where they're just everywhere. It's a great place for a Santero in Key West.
It's amazing how quickly we digress, Anthony. Anyway, so some of these meetups are before work. They're like 7 a.m. for coffee or breakfast, and some of these meetups are in lunchtime meetups, and then some of them are after work. Now, remember at the beginning of the show when you said I like to go for the food?
Right.
So let me explain my preference in order of which meetings I like to go to.
You choose meetups based on the food because you're speaking my language.
No, I don't.
Okay.
So I like to go to the morning meetups because I think the most serious people are those who are willing to actually wake up early and go to a business meeting before work, right? I mean, sleep for an extra hour, do business before business, right?
They I think those noses are on the grindstone. Those
there
early
you go.
Birds, yeah.
My second choice is the lunchtime because, again, it's concise. You got 60 minutes, you're eating lunch, you're meeting people, which we'll talk about in a second, and then, you're out the door because everyone's got to get back to their office.
Sure.
For most part. And then my third choice, I don't want to say my least favorite because I will go, are the evening meetups. And the reason I'm not as partial to the after-work meetups is I think a lot of people go for the reason you just mentioned. It's social.
Sure.
There's food, there's drink.
Right.
And I go because there's a different group of people, but every time I go, I typically come home thinking, you know what? I'm looking for serious business people. But, every once in a while you step on a diamond,
Sure.
even in the evening, because that's the only time they can go.
Well, some people might think that with the the presence of the alcohol in the evening meetup groups, that that people are a little bit more loquacious, got the guard down.
All I'm saying is for me, I found it to be a very different group. But to each his own.
Sure,
Better to do something than nothing, right?
I've done the lunch and the dinner. Not so many breakfast things. That's a good idea. I'm gonna have to start. And it's not like I'm not up. But I'm up.
So let's talk about how to maximize the impact.
Okay.
Of a networking event, all right? Because you only have so much time, and if you're going to get out of bed early and you're going to do it, let's just do it right.
Right.
All right? Go big or go home.
Right. I ain't shaving for nothing.
I ain't shaving for nothing. So think of this networking event almost like a professional sport, intern Anthony. In other words, just like Tiger Woods, who are really tying things together today.
It's
Do I have to
amazing.
say that out loud, or does the audience just
not.
get that?
They will or they won't.
And it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Okay. This is one of those times after the show where George says to me, "Listen, all right, I'm going to take you to
Ding Dong School.
Ding Dong School." And anyway, so that's when he tells me, "You don't have to say that. They get it."
Yes,
But,
yes,
all
they
right.
do.
Sometimes I'm too smart for myself.
Or they don't.
All right. So anyway, in order to win a professional sport, you got to know your strategy before you win. So let's talk strategy for networking meetings. All right. Number one. Most of the informal networking meetings run like this. All right, you go into a room, and typically, let's say it's at a restaurant or a diner for breakfast. All right, so we know. Let's say the event runs from 7 to 8:30, and the reason is that it gives you enough time to finish and get to work by 9. Right. So often, say from 7 to 7:15, there's kind of open networking. Everyone's kind of walking around. Hey, George, how you doing? Because if you go enough to the same meeting, there are always a certain core group of people that always go. And then there's kind of new ones. And then, down here in Florida, at certain times of the year, like the summertime, everybody, goes away and the meetings get small. And then in the wintertime, they all come back. And, so the meetings do have a core group of people. And so you do your, as they say, schmoozing at that point.
I love the schmooze.
Right. And so that's your mingling, so to say. Now, typically, when you walk in, there's either one of two things. There's either one long table, where everyone's going to sit and make their coffee and maybe a little bit to eat, or smaller tables. Now, if there's one long table and you're the host running the meeting, I try to get there and put my stuff down so I can sit as close to you as possible.
Okay.
I'd like to say it's because I love you or even like you.
But we are talking business.
But in the business sense, the reason I do that is because if you're running the show, all eyes are on you.
Sure.
And if they're on you and I'm right next to you, they're on me too.
All eyes on us when we walk in the club.
Right. If not, if smaller tables, I try to sit somewhere near the middle of the room or near again the host. Now, once the formal meetings start, the way it works in most cases is they go around the room and everybody gets to introduce themselves, and they get what's called a 30-second commercial. Now, your 30-second commercial is basically where you introduce yourself, and there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Now, remember I talked about knowing your strategy before you went in?
Right.
All right, your strategy is, when you do your introduction, to make it clear, concise, tell them who you are, how to find you, what you do, and who would make a perfect contact for you. So, for example, I might start by saying, and speak clearly, "Good morning. My name is Steve Gordon. I'm the CEO of the Gordon Partnership Group." Then I tell the room what I do. I help CEOs and business owners increase sales, profits, and company morale. Then tell them who a good prospect would be. All right? A good prospect for me is any business owner who's stuck and wants to learn how to massively increase their profits in the next 6 to 12 months. And then you repeat who you are again and how to find you. Again, my name is Steve Gordon, CEO of Gordon Partnership Group. Online, it's gordonpartnership.com. Thank you very much. That's it. Okay?
That's great.
30 seconds. I told them who I am, told them what I do, told them where to find me, told them who I'm looking for.
When we help people write commercials here, sponsors, we have to tell them that. A lot of people don't know what to say to sell their own business, but what it is, why you want it, and how. How do I get it?
That's
a TV commercial, radio commercial.
I have also been to meetings where there's the person who does the complete antithesis of what I just said.
Sure.
So they get up there and they go, "I have to speed up here. This is done on purpose."
Okay.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I work with like an amazing company. We're like the hottest thing ever. And if you want to lose weight and make money, I mean like filthy rich, George, like 50 grand a month in the next 30 days because, the guy who signed me up, he's already doing that, and it's amazing. And no, there's no like speed or anything like crazy or caffeine in this product. I'm really this excited all the time. I'm excited because I'm going to get rich and you're going to get rich too. And by the way, George,
Sure.
That's pretty scary, right?
That's
And I already got like samples and I'm going to pass them out to everybody. No, take it, eat it. It's great. And, the whole world runs. All right. The objective of the commercial is to just inform. It is not to sell.
Right. So
Now-
no, I was going to wrap it. I was going to wrap my commercial, but maybe that's not a good idea after all.
Well, maybe for
like-
you, no, I don't think
like
you should wrap it.
And
Well,
rhyme.
you're in
I
the
should
music
do my
business,
30-second
maybe.
commercial.
You know what?
Rhyme it.
If that's your thing, and there are people at some of these meetings that have like a
so flow
shtick.
radio, like that.
Right. You know what? There are people that have sort of like a funny saying and they do it every time. And like as soon as they stand up, everyone goes, okay. Like remember John and Keena who we had in that
Yes.
show, right? In the money business?
indeed.
So
Nice
John
people.
stands up and he always goes, my name is John. And everybody goes, OPM Jackson.
That's
and
great.
OPM stands for other people's money. Right. But he's got us all trained. So if your
That's brilliant,
your
yes.
shtick, so to say, is rap, then just do it and do it right.
Well, I like to mix it up, but yeah, that's on my
I
repertoire.
know it's right. So here's the thing. So now I've done my commercial, but we're going around the room, and I sit there and I pay attention, intern Anthony, the way you're paying attention right now, and I listen to try to figure out who is the right person for me to want to talk to. In other words, maybe Anthony is a great potential contact. 'Cause I listened to his commercial. I'm thinking, you know what? I could work with him, or at least I want to get an opportunity. And George, I think I could work with you. It is not about quantity. It is about quality because one good referral partner could grow an entire career,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
The other thing is don't shut the door on people, right? So for example, you are an insurance agent, right? And Mary stands up and she says, hi, my name's Mary and I am a professional dog walker. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what does a dog walker have in common with an insurance agent? Well, maybe if you took, did I say Mary?
You said Mary.
Okay, so maybe if I said to Mary afterwards, Mary, I would like to have a cup of coffee with you at some point and talk to you about your business. I might know some people that could benefit from your services. And so we sit down. Now, why am I interested maybe in talking to Mary? Because maybe she walks dogs for somebody who's pregnant.
Okay.
Right? Most insurance gets sold during a life change. Marriage,
Yeah, man.
pregnancy, death, right?
Sure.
So don't discount somebody because of what they do just because you think what I got in common with a dog walker.
Hey, I'd like some of that dog walking money. Some of these people make a lot of money.
There you go. So don't shut the door in any way. All right. So the key to these meetings is George, it's follow-up.
Right.
It's not about the meeting there, and it's not about talking to each other as we wrap up. The only thing I want to do at the end of the meeting is I would walk up to you and to intern Anthony, and I would say something to the effect of, George, I'm very interested in learning a little bit more about what you do. I found what you said intriguing, but I need to know more because I think I could refer you some business. I've got some time later on this week. I'd like to sit down with you. Can we get together for a cup of coffee? Now, if I said that to you, you'd find time for
very
coffee.
receptive.
Of course you would.
Absolutely. I'd love to have coffee too. And please look on the back of my card for the referral fee percentage
There you go.
rates.
Well, it's funny you say back of the card because the next thing I do is I hand you a card and I ask for yours. I never just give you mine without getting yours back.
Right
Okay?
on.
And on the back of my card, I always write something like, thank you.
I love you.
No.
You're so cute.
No.
That's what I do.
Well,
Can-
you're a different kind of networking than I am.
I guess so.
Right? So I would write, thank you, always. And then I would put down, it was nice to meet you at the Thursday morning networking meeting on
Wow,
PGA
you're a
Boulevard.
Fast writer then.
Do it quick. You know what? I'm only interested in meeting one or two people. If I
That's
spend
right.
the entire hour, I'm only, right? So the minute that meeting's over, I'm like zipping over to you or Anthony because I don't want someone else talking to you first if I can help it because I want to wait. Right? And you got to remember, too, other people are coming up to you because they think you could be of interest or benefit to them. So again, the key is to try to set that appointment. And during that time, that's when the magic happens. So again, let's parse this, right? So I make the introduction. By the way, let me go back again. I want to share one more thing. Remember I was talking about how at the party example, how I introduced you as a middle person to that woman. I do this all the time at networking events. Not make marriages, but make marriages in business.
Sure.
In other words, if you are, George, a real estate agent, and intern Anthony, our audience is going to be so confused because you guys have changed names, roles, and titles so many times. But,
Sure,
but
that's
in
okay.
this example,
There's a chart.
right? You're a real estate agent. Anthony's a mortgage broker, right? So I might, if I know both of you, I might walk over and go, by the way, George, I want to tell you that there's a gentleman over here I'd like to introduce you to. Mm-hmm. I've met him a couple of times at these meetings, or I just met him earlier. It's his first meeting. And he's a mortgage broker. And I think the two of you have a lot in common. You could generate a lot of referral business together. Let me walk you over. And I walk the two of you over. And I go, George, this is intern Anthony. Intern Anthony, this is George. George is in real estate. Anthony's in mortgages.
Right.
And I make the introduction and I split. Be a giver, don't be a taker. All right?
Okay.
Because your reputation is all you've got in business. And if you're a giver at all these meetings, what happens is people go, he's not out for himself. But they're going to, it comes back to you. What you put out there comes back. I don't make those introductions because I go, ooh, what am I going to get back? I make them because it's the right thing to do. That's why we're there. And it's not about, like, you're doing business together isn't going to take any business away from me.
Right.
So why shouldn't I benefit the two of you? And maybe Anthony turns around a few months from now and he gets a friend who owns a business. We're not even at a networking meeting, but he remembers that I gave him a referral that made him some money. And he goes, you know what? I met this guy. Let me find his card. He flips it over and goes, yeah, that's the right guy, because it says right there we met at the Thursday morning meeting. See?
That's why you wrote that.
That's why I wrote it. All right.
Okay, I was writing lotto numbers on the back. See, that's why I wasn't getting
So be a giver. When we meet for the one-on-one, right, so you have our coffee, the first thing I say is, George, I was very, very interested in what you'd said at our meeting, in the 30 seconds, and tell me, if you could share with me a couple things. Number one, a little bit more about what you do, and who would be the ideal prospect for you. In other words, I know a lot of people from my business, my business days and from going from place to place to place, George. I know a lot of people in this community. If you could paint a picture for me and be as detailed as you can, who would be your ideal candidate to be a customer for you? Now, George is going to go, no one ever asked me that question before. But I'm asking seriously because I want to know, because I don't want to waste your time and throw you somebody who's not a good client. And I'm going to try to give you a referral right there. I might even take out my phone and go, hey, listen, I'm sitting with George, and
right.
I want you, Mary, to meet George at some point. I'm going to pass the phone over to you. All right? At some point, you will turn to me and say, hey, Steve, what is it you do, and who's your ideal prospect? And that's how it works. But by starting by my asking, I become the giver again.
Right.
And that's what I want. I don't want to sit down and be like that person who everyone goes, ugh, all he cares about is himself.
Well,
all right.
Goodwill is priceless.
Goodwill is priceless, especially in the business community. Anyway, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to intern Anthony. Can we get intern Anthony to come over and
just poke your head into the camera
wave
there.
to the camera so everybody knows that we really have an intern Anthony. Yeah, he's great.
There he goes.
There he goes. And thank you. You were great. You played along well. George, you're always amazing. I love coming down to the studio. I love our show. You make it fun. You make it easy. You make it great. And once again, Steve Gordon. I am the CEO of the Gordon Partnership Group. Make sure you listen to our shows live on CEOmanship.com. And I'll be back a week from Monday, or next Monday, I should say.
Next Monday.
Next Monday on SoFloRadio.com.
SoFloRadio.com and SoFloTelevision.com.